Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Yes, early in the morning, still lying down on the couch trying to recover from the stuff that happened yesterday, only to find out yesterday was nothing compared to what today is going to be like. You sit there and you're watching the news reports that come back from the war that evil is perpetrated against Ukraine. We talk about what the leader have said to the NATO nations about the suffering that they're going through and the cries that they're making for support to help them sustain such a battle as this, and in fact help them to win this victory, because a win for them is a win for NATO as well. And I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about this cry of this. Russia just going to war crimes and continuously perpetuating these things, and what's going to be done about it. And as they were having this hearing uh, before the United Nations, according to the reports that are being received, I hear that Zelensky was telling people about what's going on in Ukraine, and you got this guy from Russia over there making statements like this is not real, that the bodies and stuff that you're seeing in the streets, the devastation, is not from Russia. It's the people, the Ukrainian people, doing that to themselves, trying to embarrass Russia, and then putting these bodies out in the streets that perhaps they have been involved in killing, and trying to make it look like the Russians did it. Now, I know one thing the Russians cannot say is this, that we weren't there, because they are there. And if they weren't there, they could say nothing negative about Russia. But the evil monster is there, and what they say, that evil, what they say about them, is probably true, and the evil is trying to discard it. But one of the things that's gotten me up this morning, kind of motivated, is that it seems as if I have heard this kind of stuff before. Looked like I heard some stuff like that about planting bodies in the street. Looked like I heard some of that about the United States years ago. They were talking to a guy named Alex Jones, who was saying that there were battles going on at these schools, these big school killings. And these bodies were supposed to be not real, but bodies that supplanted from one location to another location, trying to make Trump and his folks look bad. That's the same identical stuff they're saying about Russia. And what they're doing, the same lie, if it's a lie, that Russia is telling, and the cameras and the evidence say it is a lie, it's the same identical stuff that Trump and his supporters have been talking about for the past 4 or 5 years. And what they have been saying is the same thing that Putin is doing. The Republican Party in the United States of America has spent its time talking about doing to the people the same kinds of things the people in the United States of America, when they get in power, including the senators, not all of them, but the Republicans for sure. Maybe one or two, maybe not jumping in the bandwagon full force, but nevertheless in the same bandwagon. What have they been talking about? When we get in power, what we gonna do? We can start putting you before firing squads, doing the same identical stuff that evil does everywhere. That's what the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this to you because right now, that same old lie that you hear coming out of Ukraine about Russia is the same old lie that the Republicans are over here. And who are the Republicans blaming? They, all the crap they're doing. They're not saying we did any. We, the Republicans, are not doing anything. It's Antifa. It's Black Lives That Matter. The same thing that Russia's saying. It's not Russian. It's the people who are being victims of Russia. They're trying to point the blame to them. And that's what Donald Trump and his Republican Party is trying to do, to destroy America's system of government. Talking about it's not us, it's the Democrats, it's the left. This is what they're doing. The Democrats, it's the left. It's not us, it's the Democrats, it's the left, it's the Antifa, it's black folks, it's not us. And they're doing everything that they say that they're not doing. Just like Russia, they're doing every evil thing they can possibly do. And I want you, the American people, to pay attention to this. But I don't want you to just stop there. I want you to know that this stuff that's happening in Russia, this stuff that's happening in the United States of America, it didn't just happen out of the blue. This stuff that's happening in the United States of America happened in the middle of the American democracy, the way America operates. The way the American system operates is happening right here. These babies were born, Trump's and all his supporters, they were born in the United States of America. And somehow they came out that way, just like Russia. That means evil really got them, choked them real bad, and choking. And they are trying to choke the lifeblood out of the nation. Now, the big question is, what do you do about something like that? You know, we don't want to just talk about things that we don't have some solution. What do you do about things like that? Consider also one of the things that's happening into America today. They're talking about what? They're talking about schemes. They're talking about fraud. They're talking about all the activity that people are doing trying to rip something off, so they rip some of this wealth from wherever it is, and so they can put it in their own pocket so they can use it, buying cars, buying whatever they're trying to do with luxury or success. This is what they're trying to do. Now, that's bad. The country's just going straight down. Well, these are the kind of things that happens in hell. It's not the nation going. It is what happens in hell. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why for the past so many years, I've been speaking to you about a different view. The view not of men trying to outsmart men. What do you think Putin is trying to do over there now? That's a man, a devilish man over there trying to outsmart the rest of the world. He is over there trying to outsmart. That's a man, a human being, trying to outsmart the rest of the world. Think that he can keep the rest of the world down because they fear death. And he wants them to think that he is the low-down, dirty devil that will cause death. But what he needs to run across is another low-down, dirty devil who will cause death. And it's not the democracy. It's the people who says, bring it on. We're not afraid. So what can you do that's going to harm us? You can't do a dead blasted thing to harm us. So what it is saying to that degree, ladies and gentlemen, is that the people, the victims of all of this evil, got to wake up to understand that being a victim, it didn't just start when these guys rose up and started doing really bad, ugly things. It started in the beginning. For instance, I just shared with you about the fraud and stuff that's going on in this country, and I'm sure it's going on around the rest of the world as well. And what are they talking about? We got to increase our intelligence community. We got to increase our police. We got to give them bonuses for going and taking care of the business, that old criminal stuff that's taking. We need somebody to put a handcuff on this criminality and throw them in jail and leave them forever. See, that's the whole kind of lie and bull stuff that stupid people talk about. Bull, stupid people. How long have America been existing? How long have we had laws on the books against crime and violence? We had laws, and laws don't stop crime and violence. Action of treating people right, taking away the motivation for violation, that's what corrects that. But no, they don't want to do that. And you go where they're making decisions now. Start talking about making sure that everybody got jobs and careers that would allow them to enjoy their lives. Start talking about that, and they'll close the door on you in a minute and say, get out of here. We want some police. Get out of here. Why? Because we want to continue to rip the people off. And you talking about who ripping the people off? The system. You know, a lot of people benefit from the system. A lot of people benefit from the system. And the system allows them to rip people off. How do you think I felt the other day when they're talking about Elon Musk, the richest man in the world? And people, you know what people are going to say, oh, he's somebody. They're going to look up to him because he's rich. And if you ain't got no money, nobody want to hear a word you got to say. And to me, the richest man in the world, I've said it before, has got to be the most crooked man in the world. How can you be rich when you got people starving all over the world? How can you be the richest man in the world? How would you be wanting that title, the richest man in the world, and there are nations of people starving? That's no compassion. That's lack of empathy. That's just craziness. But it's the fruit of evil. It's the fruit of an evil system. Now, I'm sure all of these people who are rich millionaires and billionaires and multi-billionaires, they will tell you they haven't done anything wrong. They haven't violated any rules. The law permitted them to operate in the way that they've operated, and they have profit. So that tells you that if anything is wrong, it is the law that's wrong. It is the system that's wrong. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. It is the system that's wrong. These Republicans over there talking about cutting people's heads off and putting everybody in jail that stood up and said something against Trump. What do you think that sounds like? And what are you doing? You people sitting up in your houses today. Every now and then you might mention something about it and say that's not going to happen because it sounds so stupid. But you can bet your last money that evil is stupid. The devil is stupid. And all stupid things they will do. None are hands off. So I guess it just didn't make too much sense for me to land up here listening to these guys talking about how evil is championed all across the world. And people sitting back talking about Well, let's keep things the way they were. Let's go back to normal. Normal? Who wants to go back to normal? Let's go back to life. Well, can't say let's go back to life because we never experienced that. But let's go to life. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this is going to mean anything to you, but it meant something to me. So I had to say something about it. And I want to thank you so very much for giving me this, your time. And I'm going to allow you to go back to sleep if you are still, if you were, okay? All right, until next time, Eddie Marcus say goodbye.